All right, so welcome to another episode of New Mexico Desert Classics. Nate and Dan here, and so Nate's been overseas for a good 4 months, 5 months, something like that. Spent some time defending our nation in Germany. So we're here today with Ladybug. This has been a long time coming, and so Ladybug is a car of Nate's. That how long have you had Ladybug, Nate?
7 or 8 years now, I think.
Nate, what year is Ladybug?
So it's a 76 911. It's not a turbo. This is a clone car. And the story goes that I actually had a 75 turbo. It was a gray market car that should have never been in the US. And a few of them made their way here over the years. And I found it in a junkyard with no engine or transaxle. But the body was in really good shape and the paint was still pretty nice. And it still had the plaid inserts on the seats and everything. Really cool, ice green metallic car. And I saw it and I basically almost crashed my truck trying to stop to go talk to the guy who just happened to be there that day. He didn't usually live there, in a small ghost town in the middle of nowhere on the Texas-New Mexico border. And so I bought it off of him, started searching around for an engine, and a guy in California had a matching number 75 turbo engine, at least the case matched, but he wanted $30,000 for it. And it needed everything, rebuild, new case studs and everything, so yeah, that wasn't going to happen. He put me in touch with the collector guy, because I guess that guy works on the collector's cars sometimes, or maybe he's his mechanical guy, and ended up trading that green car for this, which the collector had just kind of sitting around. It's nothing special, it's not like a rare car. These all had magnesium cases from the factory that tended to not last that long for a number of reasons. So there was from, 74 to 77, the magnesium case cars.
Yep.
There's a lot of them, and somebody did the cool thing with this and said, I'm going to make it into the car I want, which is a turbo look car. You know, and there's lots of details that aren't just like a turbo, but I just think it looks great.
Right.
Which is all that really matters, right? On your car. That you like to drive in, and it looks like the one you've always wanted. And this was the poster on the window or on the wall of my bedroom when I was a kid. It was a 911 turbo. So, and this has a 3-liter SC motor in it, so which is one of the more reliable air-cooled 911s out there.
So you can drive it all day long, drive it every day if you wanted to, and you know it's really easy, especially with a tribute car or a turbo look, a clone, whatever term you want to use. It's really easy for people to focus on what it isn't.
Yeah. But
it is what it is. And so, like, when I saw this car for the first time, I was immediately taken back to 1983 in Anchorage, Alaska. We were leaving church. We went to Anchorage Baptist Temple, big, huge church in Anchorage, Alaska. Coming out of the parking lot, and here is a red 930 with the big hockey stick on the back fender, and I will just never forget, like, that's it. It was red, that's it. And when I saw this car, it was like, it's now 1980, and I am 6 years old, right?
Well, I had this similar thing, because my dad hates the flared cars. Like Panteras with flares. He likes the Continental look. So he's always going on and on about how just a stock 911 is the most beautiful thing ever. I mean, they did the turbo, it looked terrible. And I think I tried to tell him he was crazy one time. He wasn't having it. So I secretly like, oh yeah, flares are where it's at. It just looks so, the proportions are great. Right. It's so wide, has this mean look. It's not the fastest car in the world, but this thing does handle great. And it doesn't do the weird, the lift, throttle, oversteer that most other ones, because it's got such large, quite sticky tires on the back. I've tried to drive, I'm not a good 911 driver by any means. Right. All my track time's on a 944, but, I've tried every bad habit possible, and this thing just, it'll push a little bit, it'll understeer, and that's about it. But it handles great, and now you don't have enough power to really get in a lot of trouble quickly.
Right. Well, and that again this is a daily drivable car, right? And everything's going to take maintenance, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying that. So we're going to let the cat out of the bag. This car is actually probably going to be for sale here pretty soon. Sadly, life investments have to occur when they have to occur. So this car will be looking for a new owner here pretty soon. So we're going to work on a couple things on it, and you'll be able to follow along as we do that. But the key, and this isn't upselling, right? So New Mexico Desert Classics is really about a car culture, right? But this, any classic car, you're gonna have to work on it if you're driving it. But on the flip side, driving it is going to keep you from having to work on it. It's one thing to have to work on it to drive it. It's a whole nother thing to have to work on it because you haven't driven it.
Yeah.
Right? The car that this is made to clone, there's a reason there's not a crap ton of them left, right? It was not a driver's car. It was an amazing car, but lots of them killed lots of yuppie attorneys in the 1980s, right?
Yeah, maybe a few doctors too.
Yeah, a couple of doctors were thrown in there, some engineers.
They don't suffer fools, yeah. Right.
They definitely are just waiting. Of the guys on Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson is my least favorite, right? But he is not wrong about 911 turbos, right? They were looking to bite you at any point. They would lull you to sleep and then they were looking to bite you.
I still think it's overstated. You have to be driving pretty hard.
Pretty aggressively, yeah.
But
this car, I mean, you could drive it and continue to drive it and keep up with your maintenance on it on a daily basis. The interior, it's original stock interior, right? It's Spartan as Porsches always have been. It's just a fantastic car.
The reason people like the cars in the beginning is because they're a different driving experience than any other car of this vintage. 911s drive different than a 76 Chevelle,
right? Or Corvette, or
anything from 76 was slow compared to this. But any of the muscle cars, totally different experience. They're fun too, but it's just different. And I think that's why people are coming around to these air-cooled ones. And also, I think just the smell. The early fuel injection isn't perfect, so you get all the smells, and it's a time machine.
Right.
If it weren't for that, people would all drive brand new cars, but now there's something different about it.
Well, even just getting into the car, right? You get into the car, you close the doors, it's got that click, right? It's got that and then the smell of the interior. I mean, obviously I'm a Volkswagen guy, right? Mainly because I don't have the money to not be a Volkswagen guy, although they're not cheap anymore. But the smell, I don't know if it's the horsehair beneath the padding, something in it, clear up into the 70s.
While it warms up.
It just everything saturates and you get in and it's like, I'm home.
Yeah.
It's
a bit of oil in there too, and the gas tanks probably weren't always perfectly sealed.
Right.
From the factory. Yeah, it's a fun experience. I don't drive it enough, unfortunately.
Right. Which is why it's going to find a new owner here pretty soon. So we're going to get her all detailed up. I'm probably going to try to get some footage of the detail master, Mr. Dan Salinas, spending some time on Ladybug, get her all cleaned up. Got a fuel filter issue to handle, and then go through and make sure everything's up to snuff, and probably be looking for a new owner here pretty soon. So this is, again, I'm not a man of extremely modest means, but I'm dang sure not, Porsche collector guy. This is a car that you wouldn't feel bad driving, and it's within a price range that isn't unobtainium. It's just a great car. All right, so thanks again from New Mexico Desert Classics. It's good to have Nate back, and although he's heading off in a month to move for a couple of years.
We got a month to make a bunch of videos.
We have to make a bunch of videos, and honestly, we've got a bunch of cars to cover, so we'll be, our next one we're gonna hit the 924S, we're gonna hit detail in this, and then we're also going to shoot when we go pick up a 1964 Carmen Ghia convertible from California. All right, thanks again. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. We really do enjoy comments. We don't get many of them. Throw it out there, positive, negative, questions, whatever. We'll take them all. Thanks again.
See you later.